rebuilding. The catastrophic failure, a new start. Physically, mentally, our careers, our businesses. Step back, first step, next step. The driver in me just wants to get it done tomorrow. We'll do this, do that, let's move this, where are we at with this? You build some confidence, build some self-esteem, start to feel better about yourself. The Silverback Blueprint Podcast, a show for men over 40 who focus on getting stronger, staying motivated, building discipline, creating a community, and becoming truly happy. Welcome to episode 189 of the Silverback Blueprint Podcast. Growth is painful. So, just in the last episode, we talked about, people that when we look at seem to be getting things done, operating at a higher level, handle stress different, handle crisis different. They have much more load on their shoulders, but they carry it better. And one of the things we're talking about is that in looking at those people, we see that they have different ways of doing things. They have different routines. They have different rituals. And every time I deal with people that are trying to change, obviously in the gym business and the self-improvement arena, the resistance is always in creating the change. And everyone wants to be a better version. I haven't met anyone that doesn't really think don't need to be better somehow, that secretly long to be something different or something better, if they're being honest. And even people that are operating at that higher level we talked about, they continue to want to improve. Because the more they improve, the more that things happen, the more they see that there's things they can do. So what happens is they get, kind of bitten by that, and they realize that the better they become, the better things become for them. But the thing that we have to understand is that none of this is going to happen without some pain, right? Growth is painful. To grow, to become a better version, to move into a higher level of anything that you want to do, there's going to be some discomfort. There's going to be some pain. Now, when we say pain, I don't mean like torturous pain physical, although maybe there is. If you have to change what you do physically a lot, if you're 100 pounds overweight and you have to start exercising, it's going to be painful. You're going to be sore. It's going to be uncomfortable. But the pain I'm talking about is really about changing the way we do things, changing the way we think about having to do things. Because it's really about how we look at things in our mindset that we have to change. If we decide that something is important, but we don't do anything about, then it's not important enough. It's just, we come up with an excuse. We may say, I really want to take control of my health. But if you do nothing about it, it's because you honestly deem deep down inside that it's not important enough. It's when we sit and we look at things and we say, hey, this is truly important to me that this happens. It means a lot. Our why is super big and powerful. I always love it when I break out the good English, right? But when that why is tremendous and we focus on that why and we create the emotional attachment to it and we make it to the point where we're almost in a state of desperation to achieve it, then we'll start looking at things differently, and then we'll start realizing we have to implement different routines and different patterns and different habits. And that's painful. Change is painful. It's uncomfortable. It's not natural. It's not easy. We always want to gravitate to the easy, the path of least resistance, unless we have a greater purpose that makes us realize we need to take on that pain, that we need to understand that if we don't grow in an area, that area isn't going to change. All too often I run in, when I deal with people that aren't making the changes they want, they say the same things. I've tried everything. Well, no, you haven't tried everything, because if you had tried everything, something would have worked. I'm trying to lose weight, but I don't understand what the problem is. My food is perfect. No, it's not. I'm too old to do that. I can't train like that anymore. It's not true. You might have to back up. You might have to start again. You might have to build up and move into it over time. But those are just excuses. Those are outs. Those are pats on the back we give ourselves saying, well, you know what? We tried, but it's not for us. It can't be done. And if somebody else in the same situation does it, they're lucky, right? They're special. Someone did it for them. We'll play those mental gymnastics. But really what it is we haven't decided that change is important enough that it's worth that discomfort and pain. We are the sum total of our habits. What we drive, what we wear, how we look, how we feel is a representation of our habits. We're the walking advertisement for our lifestyle. We are the commercial. How we look, how we feel, how we handle things, that's who we are. That's who we are based on what we're doing day to day, how we're thinking about things, what's important to us, what we're doing, what we're not doing. So to change those things, we have to get uncomfortable. We have to do things we haven't done either before or in a long time. There's no out-talking it. There's no out-thinking. You can't out-train a bad diet. You can't lose weight unless you take in less calories and you burn off. You can't get stronger unless you apply resistance. Right? You can't afford the things you really want unless you start saving and stop wasting money on other things. You can't improve at work or in business if you don't sit down and look at the problems and start to solve them. That's painful. That's uncomfortable. The human being wants to shy away from pain. A reptilian brain senses danger, discomfort, so it wants to do something else. It wants to find something easier. So we have to fight that. We go back to that 5-second rule. After 5 seconds of thinking about the right thing to do, if you wait more than 5 seconds, you will talk yourself out of it. I think that very few people innately know what they should be doing in a situation, but they're not willing to do it. They feel incapable of it, but it's because they haven't done things to make themselves capable. It's not easy having an uncomfortable conversation until you start having more uncomfortable conversations and you get better at it. But you have to go through that. That's the only way you're going to get better at it. And even when you're really good at it, an uncomfortable conversation is still an uncomfortable conversation. But things have to happen. Things have to get done. Things have to change in order for change to happen. It's that simple. But people resist until they're truly ready. You know, in AA, we talk about hitting bottoms. I think we always have a series of different bottoms in our lives that we'll run into. Maybe not as drastic as, being an alcoholic. But there's a point every once in a while where it's, okay, that's enough. I've had enough. I can't go any further. And when we hit that point, we know it was coming. We felt it coming. It's just that we finally had to get to the point where that part was so painful and unbearable that not making the change wasn't acceptable anymore. So my goal for me personally and for people that I work with is, why wait till it gets to that point? I've been working on losing weight. This is coming out in April sometime. At this point, I will be down, as I do this podcast, I'm down about 70 pounds in 4 months. Hopefully by the time this hits the streets, I'll be down another 10 to 15. That hasn't come without some pain. But the pain really was just in getting organized. And now that I'm organized and I know what my meals are and stuff, it's never been easier. It's never been simpler. It's never been less stressful. But now that I'm on this side of that, and I sit there and there's certain things that work and don't work. So when I have a conversation with someone like, Kurt, you lost all this weight. I really want to do it. What's the magic? What do you got to do? I'm like, simple. Write down what you eat. Weigh and measure everything. And all of a sudden they're like, oh, no, I can't do that. I'm like, well, what do you mean you can't do that? What they're really saying is they don't want to do that. Or maybe they don't know how. But most times it's because they don't want to make a change. I have a couple clients I'm working with and stuff, and they're not losing the weight. They talk a lot about doing food prep, but they're not weighing in their foods. They're not measuring out into their meals. I know they're not, because I asked them, point out, show me how you do it. Well, I don't do that. I go, well, it's not going to work then. And they're like, well, they'll argue, well, it should. I go, the fact that it's not working is telling you it's not working. If it's working, you will see the change on the scale. It doesn't matter who you are. If you're not measuring out everything that you eat, weighing out everything that you consume, then you're not in control. And like I said, guys, now once you get into the habit, it's not hard to do. It isn't. It's actually simple. But it's getting your mindset to the point where saying, this is how I have to do it. And there's a learning curve. I have to learn to do a few things. But if you're trying to lose weight and you're not losing weight every week, you are doing it wrong. If you're losing weight for 12 weeks and out of 12 weeks you don't lose weight once a week, once or twice, and it stays the same, that happens. But as a rule, if you're on a 12-week weight loss program and you're following something that's good, there should be weight loss every week. Anything else is because you're not following it properly. You're not doing it properly. We have what we call diet jumpers that, this month they're doing this nutrition plan and next month they're doing that nutrition plan. They're doing paleo. They're doing, the zone. They're doing intermittent fasting. But it doesn't work for them because they're not doing it properly. They're kind of doing it. They're kind of doing it and making the change. They might lose a pound or two in the first week or two because it is a change. But you have to buy into the system. You have to decide to do it the way it's supposed to be done, the way it was intended. If you sit there and you exercise once a week, you're not going to get fitter. You're not going to get healthier. You're not going to get stronger. If you do it twice a week, you're slowly going to start to move towards that. If you're exercising 3 times a week, things start to happen. 4, 5, and 6 times, things happen much quicker, much more consistently. That's just the way it is. And that's the way it is for everything. If you sit there and organize your budget once a year in your house and you never look back at it, well, then you didn't do it properly. And then you'll say stupid shit like, I made a budget once. And that is stupid shit because you made it, but you didn't follow it. You didn't track it. You didn't look at it. Yeah, I have a 5-year plan. I made a 5-year plan 15 years ago. I didn't achieve anything. That's because you didn't follow it. You didn't look at it. You didn't pull it out and look at it every Sunday and say, hey, this week, what did I achieve moving towards this 5-year plan? Look at it every day. Create a 30-day action plan and look at that fucking thing every morning and every evening and look at your actions for the day. Did you follow those things? No. Well, then you're not going to get the results. Because we got to put the work in. We have to make the changes. We have to do the things that have to be done. That's where the pain comes from. The discomfort. But it's so small and becomes very minute but once you start seeing the results. That's not painful anymore. In fact, once you really start seeing results and you start to embrace it and you realize it's because of the rituals and the things that you change, you realize that you want to start to seek out that pain on a regular basis. You want to sit there and make those sacrifices where once a week for half an hour on a Sunday, you review your week and you prepare for the week ahead. You get past the pain thought of having to peel yourself off the couch for 30 minutes and sit down somewhere quiet with a notepad and a pen. Then you'll flip it around to the point where when you don't do that, that becomes painful. And when you get to that side of things, when you get on the other side of that, that's where things really start to happen. But progress will be painful. Change will be painful. But we also have to understand that we're pretty fucking resilient as human beings. Why is it some people can sit down and handle all kinds of torturous scenarios for years, be in prisons, suffer unimaginable things and come out on the other side better and stronger for it? And some of us can't even fucking look at a budget once a week. Or read for 10 minutes a day. I got one client the other day was, talking about his food and he started off doing really well. First couple of weeks, he was sending me his weigh-ins every day. The weight was coming down. And I said, show me your 3 meals. I have a few rules when I work with people with their nutrition now. I have 3 basic rules. Get up in the morning, void, weigh in, 4, and then prep your 3 meals for the day. Those 4 fundamental rules, if you do them, that's 90% of the work. They're pretty natural. Everyone's got to get up. Everyone's got to go to the bathroom. I'm adding weigh in every day and then prepare your 3 meals. Take a picture of them and send them to me. And the moment I'm working with a client and I don't get the daily weigh-in and I don't get the meal sent to me, I know they're not following it. I know. Because if they were, they'd be sending it to me. That's simple. So all of a sudden, when they do send it and they're up 5 pounds or they haven't lost weight in 3 weeks, I just turn around and say, listen, you're not following the food. And they'll be like, well, yes, I am. I'm like, well, I haven't seen one picture of your 3 meals. Oh, well. Then the oh, wells come up and the excuses. And, the story about eating buns and I had to go out and this is what happened. And I left for the day and I forgot my food. I only thought I was leaving for an hour, so I only took 1 meal. I go, listen, I created these rules because they make a difference. So if you leave the house with 3 meals, every day I leave the house with 3 meals prepared. I don't know if I'm going to be gone for 6 hours or 16 hours, but I know I've got my food with me. I weigh in at the same time every day. I go to bed better now because I want to have that same amount of sleep. As I'm tracking more for myself, I'm realizing sleep patterns make even more difference. I've always known sleep patterns important, but I'm really starting to understand how important it is for weight loss, for recovery. The amount of sleep, the quality of sleep, the duration of sleep, so important for hormone control. But it's in the doing that we appreciate these finer things, these small things that seem not that big a deal until you realize that they are a big deal. So when I confronted this person on it, because part of my job when I work with people with their nutrition is to hold them accountable. That's part of the gig. Then he started telling me, well, it was hard on the weekend. I had to do this, I had to do that. And I said, listen, some of us, get bullets shot at them all day long in their job. Some of us have to prepare 3 meals. We all have a cross to bear. My point there is that he was being a fucking pussy about it. It's that simple. As tough as you think your life is, there's people out there with 1,000 times worse, and they get shit done. Sometimes they get more shit done because they realize they're under a lot more pressure and they have to get things organized. Sometimes when things are going too easy, we have too much time, we have too much space, we have too many voids. I'll do it later. I'll get to it tomorrow. That doesn't work. But these 4 principles that when I've got my clients working out, that when I do it, makes a huge difference. Big difference. At the end of the day, yes, growth is painful. Yes, change is painful. But so is fucking staying stuck where you are and where you're miserable. That's even more painful. That's more debilitating. Help me out here. Debilitating. I only know 11 words, guys. Debilitating. What's the other word I can't say? Compartmentalize. That's probably the best first time ever at it. Nothing but quality on this podcast, guys. But it's far more debilitating to be stuck in that day-to-day misery of you hating your fucking life. And you can sit there and tell me all kinds of bullshit. Well, I'm happy with my body image and this and that. No, you're not. No, you're not. At 397 pounds, when I was heavy benching, I felt heavy. I felt strong as fuck, but I felt heavy, and I was getting tired of it. My heart was fine. My blood pressure was fine. All that stuff was good. I got tired of it. 70 pounds later, I feel different. I feel a different version of great. A different strength. Yeah, if I go to jump on the bench right now and try to bench 550, I won't be able to do it because I haven't trained that way in 16 weeks or 14, 15 weeks from now. But I can still bench heavy, but that's not the goal. Switching over to bodybuilding, that's the goal. But feeling better, having more energy, a different energy, I'm loving it. I don't want to miss my meals. I don't want to miss my weigh-ins because they're holding me accountable. They're guiding me. They've become my rituals that are causing tremendous changes. And now that I'm on the other side of it, I want more of it. So that's why when people come up to me and I'm working with them and stuff and ask me these questions, and what they're telling me, I know it's excuses. Or they have lack of knowledge. Or it's a combination of both. Because certain things just fucking work. They just do. The math works. The steps work. The rituals work. Growth is painful, but seek out that pain. Because we're going to be in pain for something, so it might as well be for something that's moving us forward, that's moving us towards our purpose, that's making us the better version of ourselves. And there's something to be said for going through the battle, to be battle worn, to come out on the other side of the fight and know that you fucking earned it. You made those changes. It was uncomfortable. You didn't go out as often. When you had a social situation, you sat and drank soda water and you were happy to do it because you have goals and you're getting shit done. And fuck the guys that are trying to get you to, come on, you're going to have one. Fuck those guys. They don't give a shit. They're not doing what you're trying to do. They're not there. You are. And when you get to the other side and you get those results and you sit there and you see the changes you made, nothing feels that good. No piece of cake tastes that good. No cold beer tastes that good. No episode on Netflix is going to make you feel that good as you will be when you're standing on the other side and having accomplished a goal, a change, put yourself in a different position in life where you want to be. Nothing feels that awesome. Seek out the pain. Start growing. That's all I have to say on that, guys. Head on over to iTunes. Leave us a positive 5-star review. Head on over to Hostile. Head on over to, what the hell am I saying? Yeah, head on over to hostilegear.com. Use the code word Silverback. Save 20% on growth is painful in a hoodie or a t-shirt. And as always, guys, work hard, motherfuckers. And I'll talk to you guys later.